Hey guys, welcome back to Aussie Beekeeping. So it's the 24th of October, it's about 25 degrees Celsius or 75 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm down here today to check on the stores in the white hive and get into a few of the other hives and see how they're going. It's going to be a good one, let's get into it. If you want to pick up one of these brand new t-shirts or even one of these fantastic stickers, pop on over to stinghoney.com.au. So the first thing I've noticed with this beehive is they actually don't like smoke. So for this exercise, I'm not going to smoke them. So last time I was in this hive, I think I bought a couple of frames up, which are potentially these two middle ones. I'm pretty sure I did actually. So that frame there is absolutely chock-a-block full of nectar. I can tell by that medicinal taste that that frame there is probably tea tree. So I'm just going to put an X on that one. But the rest of these frames are just empty, so I'm not going to go too much more into this box. So I've just cracked open the orange hive and it's really looking quite horrific in here. There's frames drawn out with a little bit of nectar in them, but that right there is about the extent of the cluster. You might remember that these bees initially had a big brood nest through here and they've been extending it, and you can see that by the difference in the colour. But I cannot for the life of me find a queen in this hive. All the brood has been abandoned. It's basically a zombie hive with lots and lots of newborn bees wandering around aimlessly with nowhere to go. But as far as the queen is concerned, I've looked and looked and looked, and all I can find is a cluster of eggs just through here, but the queen is nowhere to be seen. I imagine that's a wax moth larvae cocoon. And all the bee larvae is all dried up. Now I've looked in this hive 3 or 4 times. I've taken the box off, I've looked on the base, I've looked on the wall, and I know there's a cluster of bees up here. They're just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. So unfortunately, the orange hive is kaput. We've now got a case of wax moth taking over here. You can see through there's a little trail. So that, well, there's one there. There's an actual wax moth right there in front of me. Look at that cheeky little monkey. So unfortunately, when that wax moth is running tracks through this dead brood, the ants have also taken over. So unfortunately, the orange hive is no more. I'm just going to quickly shake out the last of these bees and see if I can find the queen. Does not look like the queen is there. I'm just having a bit of a look in the silver hive now, and although we've got quite a large amount of bees spread out over about 6 frames of brood, well, not an enormous amount of bees to be honest, what we don't have is we don't have a single drop of stores. Now we're about 6 days away from hitting summer, and we haven't had any flows as yet. So a lot of bees, a lot of unhatched brood. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to feed them, but I also had, which I've just thawed out in the last day or two, is some autumn honey that I've brought down. So this has been frozen over winter. I'm going to plonk this in these guys both sides. I might even put one in the middle, well, I mean next to one of the other frames. Just shake these bees off. So this one here, it's been in storage. It's uncapped. I'm tipping they'll really like that. And I'll put their other frame back on the outside. But hopefully, between those couple of frames of nectar and honey and a good bag of sugar syrup, these bees will see me through to the flow. So I'm just having a look in the red hive, which is next to the one that was empty in the bottom. The red hive was 2 stories, and both boxes are full of bees and full of brood. An enormous amount of brood in both these boxes. This is emerging. But if we look at the frame next to it, so this hive is probably at absolute capacity right now, being that there's 2 complete boxes full of bees and full of brood. I've looked for the queen and I can't find her, so I can't take advantage of the fact that there's so many bees and put some put some frames into another weaker hive. So what I'm going to do with these guys is I'm going to do a walk away split. So I've got the bottom box there, they're going to stay in situ, and I've got the top box over here, absolutely chock-a-block full of bees. Might not look like it, but they're all down the bottom. So I've got this position over here near the white hive at the end of the row where the orange hive used to be, and just simply going to take this top box full of bees and brood, bring it over, put it on there. I'm going to block the entrance just for the rest of the day on here, and then I'm going to leave them alone. There's also a lid full of bees I'm going to drop in here as well. So we have it, the brand new orange hive. We'll check up on these 2 hives in a week and we'll find out which one was queenless. And just to give you a bit of an idea how different beekeeping can be from hive to hive, this is the original white hive. This queen is 3 years old, and although their top box has only got minimal amount of stores and brood, their bottom box is not only full of fresh comb and fresh honey, but it's also full of brood. A little bit grumpy, but absolutely ripper bees. I'm not sure what the bottom box is like, but it sort of looks a little bit similar. I think I might put excluder on this hive. Look at that. That looks like a supersedure cell, but it's just a bit wonky, that comb. Nothing to worry about. A few drones here and there. Really awesome beehive. Not much happening on that frame. A little bit of nectar. No brood. And on these outside frames, I know exactly what this is, judging by the feel. Capped honey. I just can't help myself. That is absolutely beautiful. Really caramelly sort of flavour. Amazing. Can't wait to get honey out of this hive. On this outside frame, it's got a fair bit of weight to it, so I can tell that's honey as well. That looks pretty dark. That could be last season's honey. Oh no, it's the same colour. Oh, tastes the same. So I'm going to pop this box off and see if I can't have a bit of a look in the bottom box. So straight into the middle of this bottom box. It's fairly well propolis together. Wow, look at that. So this queen was 1 year old when I brought her down to this block. And I've been here for maybe 3 years. Really nice, look at that. I'll pull an outside frame, have a bit of a look, see what we've got. I imagine nectar. Oh yeah, weighs a lot, that frame. Wow, not a lot of nectar on that side. Plenty on this side. Oh look, it's all pollen. Masses and masses of pollen. So in comparison to the other beehives that are dying, this hive continues to show no boundaries. No idea what the queen looks like. Don't think I've ever seen her. Don't really care. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a couple of frames of honey. Not that one. So probably nothing from this bottom box. So from this top box, I'm going to pull those couple of frames that have got honey on them. 1, 2, maybe not that one. That's brood, that's brood, that's brood, that's brood. And that one is nothing really. This one's a little bit of honey and some brood. So I'll pop that one in there. Other species, other space. I'm just going to put this blank frame just with foundation, half a sheet of foundation, just there. Now I'm shaking each frame and I'm inspecting them to make sure the queen isn't on them. And just to make sure the queen's not on the lid, we clear the lid out and check it. So now I'm going to pop the queen excluder. that original box. These two frames of honey in the centre. Now because this frame hasn't got any foundation, I'm going to put it directly between two drawn out combs. That way, if they do draw it out, it's dead straight. They'll measure from here to there and measure from there to there. If you just happen to put this frame on the outside here with nothing next to it, or a frame of half foundation, and they draw this frame out first, they will draw it all the way out to this foundation, thus rendering this foundation useless. So, blank frame, always put it between two combs. So we'll check back on the original white hive in a couple of weeks. Fingers crossed, they're making honey. Now I haven't smoked this hive yet. Hopefully that's almost empty. Wow. A lot of ants in there. It's probably not a great sign, but no bees. Let's make our way into this beehive. Look at that. So they're still on the bottom of that feeder. Just shake them off. What we would like to see here, a little bit of nectar perhaps. Good coverage of bees, plenty of nectar, not too bad. So that's a good first frame. Next frame in. Oh, really nice brood. We'll keep our eye out for the queen. Goodness. They built a little bit of new comb, but looks like they're sort of just plugging along right now. I'm sort of surprised there's not nectar on that outside of that frame, being that I think I put about 2.5 litres on them. Anyway. This frame looks pretty good. Little amount of brood. We've got some larvae and eggs. And on the other side, plenty of brood. So next frame in, another relatively good frame of brood. Plenty of larvae in between those cells, which is really nice. No sign of chalk brood. They look really good. There's our queen. This queen was gifted to me by a subscriber about this time last year. More really nice brood. This is all laid out through here. I'm just surprised that the nectar that I've been feeding these bees hasn't been deposited into the frames. I mean, there's a little bit of nectar through here, but there was litres and litres of nectar put on them. Now I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I know exactly where the queen is. And I've got a frame of brood here. I'm just quickly going to go and open up one of my other hives and drop this frame of brood in. I've just got this other frame from another hive. I'll slip that into the middle there and close these guys up. I'm going to pop the feeder back on and give them another feed. Alright, so time to have a look in the Phoenix hives. So although they're called the Phoenix hives, we need a name for each one now based on the Phoenix. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let's get into it. Not a bad amount of traffic in the front of this hive. Okay, so 2 weeks since we had a look. Fingers crossed. Oh, well that looks good. So last time I was here, 2 weeks ago, I put a new frame here, I put a new frame here, and I put a new frame here. Slowly trying to work out these broken frames and the disgustingness that was this hive. So let's get straight in and have a look what's happening with these 2 new frames. So it looks like that's been drawn out, but nothing really happening. And on the other side, same thing. So quite dirty from all the foot traffic, but no eggs or larvae. That's not too bad. I'm not overly worried about that. I'm just happy that that frame that was in there is not there anymore. So next frame in. Good. Nice little bit of brood. Looks like a little bit of newer wax up here, probably from the sugar that I was feeding them. Actually, this hive didn't have any sugar on it. That was weird. I probably should have put sugar on it. That frame unsupported, so it's quite floppy. But yeah, nice little bit of brood. Got a bit of work to do to get these guys back up to a decent health. Floppy frame again, looking for the queen. We do have larvae through there, which is really nice. I'll give you a look. Have a look at that. And other side of the frame, nice little patch of brood. Let me know if you see the queen. And you can see those eggs down the bottom of those cells. So we do have a queen. So I'll pop that frame back in. Maybe our queen will be on this frame. Just so you know what I do when I'm trying to find a queen, as soon as I turn the frame over, I run my eye around this outside perimeter so that if the queen is ducking away or running away, I catch her. Then I move my eye through the frame and I almost take my eyes out of focus just to look for that little pattern of that one bee being worshipped like others. Similar to this over here, where they're all pointing to the same bee. So turn it over, look around the edge, doesn't look like the queen's there, then I start sort of scanning through. But that's good. So they've drawn that frame out and she has laid that completely out. In between the majority of those cells is all larvae. So around the outside, doesn't look like she's on the frame. Doesn't look like she's in the middle. Good bit of brood there. Flip the frame over. Round the outside. Can't seem to see her. Maybe she's on the last frame. So this is all pollen on this frame. It's borderline ready to be taken out, but just a little bit of brood as well. We're just going to leave it. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to leave it. I think this is an absolute perfect time to take this frame out. It's light. I'm just going to check to see if it's got any eggs. There's no eggs or larvae in any of those cells. So today's the day we're getting rid of this ugly frame. And I've got just the frame to replace it with. Look at that pollen, nice. Got this frame that I bought in from home that had been frozen. So plonk that one in. And I think this other drawn out frame can go right in the guts. I'm going to pop a hive top feeder on this hive, get these guys boosted up. So I've given them about 4 litres and we'll check up in a couple of weeks. Alrighty-o, let's check out the rescued hive. Okay, let's see how this unfolds. Lots of condensation dripping off the roof and zero nectar. Well, that looks good. We've got bees on the top of there. Okay. Tiny little puff of smoke for these bees. They're in no way aggressive. So, outside frame, drawn out a fraction, that was put in 2 weeks ago. Second frame in. Ooh, really good brood. When I say really good brood for the second frame out. Oh, nice bit of brood there as well. I'm looking for the queen as we go. You can follow along at home if you like. Okay. Well, it's not looking terrible so far. Let me see if we've got eggs. We've got larvae, so that's a great thing. So dotted in between that brood is really nice larvae and eggs. Okay, so far so good. Now this is the frame that I put in 2 weeks ago when I put that hive top feeder on. So they've drawn out that comb, really nice, and that is completely laid out all the way up to there, all laid out. And on the other side, really well laid out, and eggs and larvae. So far so good. Suss out the next one. So this next one looks like it was a brand new frame as well, probably the week before. There's our queen. Look at that, she's beautiful, isn't she? Beautiful brown wings, quite a leathery looking queen. Looks like she made her way into the hive, but realistically she just made her way onto the other side of the frame. Not sure exactly where. But So I'm going to very, very carefully put this frame back in, just in case she's on the end of the frame. I don't think she was. She may be on this frame. Okay. I'm just going to turn this over quickly to see if our queen is there. Doesn't look like it. So here we've got a patch of brood, pollen coming in from this bee, which is really nice to see. So not too bad so far. I'm really happy. Being that this hive was flooded and it looked like it was going to die, I'm really happy. So next frame in, it's just been drawn out. There's no eggs in that comb. And the last frame here, a little bit of weight. It is old comb, so it's a lot thicker. So I think it's time for this comb to be retired. So I've got another frame which was frozen. Pop that one in the outside there. So I don't think they need any real manipulation. Where was that frame? Pop that one on the outside. I think that's where it was. We'll pop a hive top feeder on them. And give them some juice. So there you have it. The Phoenix hives look like they're doing okay. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one. Don't forget to check out stinghoney.com.au.